after I became an architect, when I was working with firm, in the firm there was a system that whatever we used to do architecturally, internally it should be perfect from the internal furniture arrangement part. So our training was such that the entire planning should be compatible with interior. So that is how we started. I mean, we were sort of trained to think that the building has to be thought completely as a one big project, which inside outside, and as the things further moved, it is realized that the projects are becoming larger, and the electricity which we were using in very olden days only to switch on the light or switch on the radio is no more like that. You need the electricity now for everything. If you consider house, you require right from the microwave, radio, television, computer, everything, charger. In the office, because the offices have become automated, the services factor becomes more important. So naturally we realize that when we have to give service to the client, so we must should be able to give them end-to-end service, and so he doesn't have to look for anything anywhere else. And since we are a group of people who will be working on particular project where all the engineers, architects are also involved, to large extent the engineer concerned, consulting engineer or the engineer working from my office itself, is trained what I want, how I want. So naturally he is more quicker and he knows how it is to be done, so that coordination problem is less and ultimate benefit goes to the client. So I think today's project do call for this, and that is what we have tried and implemented, involved, included in our services and implemented. It's a good question. Actually, in the recent presentation, we have presented some of the 3Ds and the work which is already executed. See, I strongly believe a conceptualization can be like a mirage, which is not the reality. Mirage is not the reality. But when you conceptualize or when you visualize, you have to see to it that it turns into reality. So 100% whatever you have seen, for example, I make a conceptualize this as a partition or same thing, same way it is executed. That is most important. And if how it can be done, it can be done only through perfection and bringing in perfection through proper drawings, because that is the ultimate language you will transfer and translate to your contractor, to the people who will be executing the work. We require, because now it has become a specialized. See, if you are doing a building of smaller scale, the wind pressure and other things are not to that extent working. But as you go tall, building becomes complex, facade becomes complex, and there is no point that I should say that I know everything. It is not possible. The knowledge or the technology, and therefore you require more and more knowledge as the technology is improving, changing, ever changing. So I cannot say that I know everything, but I must know what it means. If I don't know that, I will not able to relate the things, I will not able to discuss with the consultant, I will not able to get what I want ultimately. In facade, how things should be, how the glass or ACP panels, how it is to be detailed out or merge with each other, how to get better design from that, better impact in the elevation. That an architect has to visualize. Technologically or technically, whatever is required, that facade consultant, but he cannot overpower the basic visualization and basic aesthetics of the building. So if you see the recent past, the things have changed a lot. In the field of interior designing, in the field of architecture, things have changed very fast. But prior to, say, about 7 years back, things were slowly moving. So there was slow development, but now you will find the graph is going fast. The new ideas, new materials have entered the market, new technologies have entered. The contractors or the people who used to take years together to construct are now using PT slabs, sliding, your formwork. Things they are constructing huge buildings in no time. So definitely things have changed, and if you have to retain in the field, then you have to change. See, if you see very good architectural monuments, big buildings, good buildings, done by good architect. So if you see it from the outside or when you go walk through it, whatever detailing the architect has made, whatever finishes he has used, the way he has used, many people at that point of time when he is conceiving and he is constructing may not realize. But afterwards, after some years or some time, there are people, when they start using the whole thing, they realize what this architect has made wonder. So his language is very silent, it's not a vocal. It becomes vocal when people start using that space. And you don't require any other language to understand that. If you go in US and see Frank Lloyd's work or any other large project, or you go to China, you see the work, you don't require any translator. Basically, the product like ACP and the use of glass and ACP is the basic outcome of the multi-story buildings. And first you construct the inner core and then go on doing the structural cladding, glazing and cladding. So the things can move faster. That is the reason this material have been invented and brought. Besides, see, you can't just bring any material. Besides that, it should have aesthetic quality. So that it also has aesthetic quality because it's a metallic material. Then further improvement was done, and now, as you said, you have already brought finishes which are different, wood finish and things like that. So naturally, an architect, as he goes, he wants different finishes, different things. He has different thoughts. So ultimately, whatever product he is going to use, he sees to it that it is aesthetically perfect. So even ACP panel, if you see ACP panel or if you see just a marble big piece, unless it is used properly in a proper proportion and with proper detailing, then only it will give effect. And that is how ACP panels also, you will see the large good buildings, they are doing wonders with the ACP panel because it's a quick, you can fix it quickly, you can maintain it without any efforts. It looks evergreen, it looks better every time. So basically, though my office or any such architectural office has an engineering also, but that is a supporting system, supporting services for creating a better architecture or creating a better aesthetic. So if I want to use ACP, aesthetically I take a decision.
Right.
But technologically, the engineer, like a facade consultant for example, he takes a decision what should be the fixing detail, what should be the size of panel, I only see to it that my lines are to be matched properly, grooves are to be matched properly, and the proper finish. I mean, if I take SS finish or if I take color, it depends on the character of the building. This happens only with the taller buildings and larger buildings. You cannot use a very heavy material, and fixing becomes a problem, detailing becomes a problem, maintenance becomes a problem. So this is a better material to handle and to deal with. And I'm sure even on SCP also you are bringing stone effect. Client has certain requirements which architect, as an architect, he may not be agree as architect. But client is, you can say, is very rigid about their certain requirements. So then it becomes a challenge for an architect. He has to fit in the plan, he has to fit in his entire scheme to suit those. Ultimately, he is not constructing a building for himself, he is constructing a building for a user. So he has to see to it that his user is comfortable. And when his user is comfortable, he also has to see to it that it is built the way he wants it and not the user wants it. You know, user may be giving a requirement, but he has to satisfy the requirement in his own style, in his own way of thinking. That makes creates a challenge. See, it all depends on design. I can use the ACP on the residential bungalow. How I design it. If I want to use that particular material, which is a very modern, very different material, so I have to design accordingly. So the entire design and the material chain is there. So you see the ultimate product doesn't look like a design for that particular product. The ultimate structure, I mean building as a structure. So you should not feel that he is designed only to use ACP. The ACP and the product, the built structure on the architecture should merge with each other so well that it is part and parcel of. There is nothing like permanent. Whatever is the theory and the concepts of earlier generation, just because it was earlier generation, we call it as a heritage, it is not. Unless it is of some importance. And one also should know to what extent you can go. So rest, new development will definitely come as per the new generation's ideas. If you see the architects right from the Frank Lloyd Wright, Le Corbusier, then now Frank Gehry, Zahadi, I mean you see the total different perspective and different intersection. Principles may be and values may be same, but the way the idea is put and the way it is built, it is different. I am quite opposed. I am not with the people who are FSI. I mean, in the development control rule, the entire development of Mumbai is based on FSI. I am not for. I personally feel that area-wise there should be height line, skyline, and road. Because see, for example, you come on this road which is quite narrow, and now because of the redevelopment you can have huge buildings coming up. Now today one flat means 2 cars. So how we are going to handle that? You know, though I won't call it heritage, but there has to be some system, like in Hindu colony in Mumbai or Shivaji Park, that originally it is a low rise development. Suddenly you start seeing 20-story, 25-story towers there, which don't gel with that entire thing. So there may not be heritage, but there has to be a particular system which should be followed to allow them 8-story buildings, 10-story buildings, all the buildings of similar height. So that whatever is the character of that area is retained to some extent. I personally feel that instead of putting environmental norms, environmental restrictions and take environmental permission and NOC, there should be a state-level development control rule that each and every building should be constructed to green norms, say GREA 3 or green norm silver for gold rated. Then it is compulsory. They don't have to bother. In spite of doing all these environmental NOCs, people want to do what they want to do. So at least large percentage of the buildings will be constructed with next generation in their mind. We don't plant a tree for ourselves. We plant it for next generation. Same thing we will have to do it here.